Show. Always Irish. Show. Always Irish. Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, everybody, to a pregame live edition of the Always Irish Show. And we got a special guest today. You might know his name. You might know who he is. I love this concept. You guys, there is a reason I usually don't do pre-game streams. It doesn't matter who we're playing or whatever. I'm what you might call wound a little tight before Notre Dame games. So this is going to be an interesting experiment. Thank you to everybody that's joined. As always, you can find the program on YouTube where you're at right now. Hit subscribe. I appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny out as well. Notifications on that way you're alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd, gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you can get it. Call in. Jaded Clay. That's a sexy shirt, John. Thank you very much. You don't see these out often. So I'm lucky I got one. Unique story behind it as well. Thank you for mentioning it. Call in line 312-988-15. You're going to tell Johnny all you've heard and seen about Notre Dame Pitt right after the game. 1 minute after the game, tune in, call in, tell me what you think. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc., Irish Wire, read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Oh, there's a lot of danger there. Me and Mike Goolsby together, the outspoken player, the outspoken media guy. Ooh, baby, go check it out. And I thank all of you that have already. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about Notre Dame versus Pitt. And I'm going to start this before I even bring Mike in by saying, I spent all week saying, oh, it's Pitt, sleepy Pitt, whatever, it's Pitt, this and, we're all worried about what Michigan and USC have going on, and nobody's talking about Pitt. Now that the game's here an hour away, I'm getting all wound up about it because Notre Dame's playing again, and we waited a half a month. I'm ready to get this going. Looky who I found. Good afternoon, Mike. Oh, look at this $50 holler from Donnie. Thank you, Donnie. Means the world to me. You'd be the first one up on a post-game show. I know you're a regular caller. That means you're paying for the phone lines you're going to use. Thanks, Donnie. Mike, here we are, baby. We're an hour out. I'm getting wound up.
Hey. First of all, cheers, brother. First and foremost, John, in honor of our first pregame virtual tailgate, dude, taking it back to Chi-Town with the Goose Island IPA over here, man.
I like that.
So you're wound up, man. You're wound up. Hey, for folks watching, John and I were on the phone till 1:15 a.m. last night talking about this game. And when John says he's wound up, it's a real thing. It's like, John, go to bed. Go to bed.
Dude, all week I was telling you, dude, nobody's talking about Pitt. We're all worried about, making fun of Michigan's problems and all this. And it's like, it's sleepy Pitt and they're not good. And it's like a whatever. And then I wake up today, Mike, that feeling. It's just in me, like that Notre Dame game day. Doesn't matter who we're playing. It doesn't matter the records. Notre Dame's playing. We wait all year for this, and now I'm all jacked up. And then talking to you is just going to crank me up more. and we're off to the races.
We'll see. Yeah, so we'll see how we want to take it. But yeah, it's just great to have football back. It's kind of that fall weather. It's the first kind of fall weather game in South Bend, and it's like, with all of the off-field distractions. I mean, USC seems like just old news, right? Like this Michigan scandal is kind of taking front and center stage. And then you got this Pitt team coming in who ain't that good, but they are Pitt, as we talked about previously. Pitt and Boston College, they kind of sometimes have had a Notre Dame's number.
Yeah.
They're a scrappy little team. They're annoying. So, I'm confident about the game, but at the same time, like, we've been here before. We've seen this movie before.
Mike, they're all giving us shit. They're like, what are you guys, girlfriends? No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Hey, listen, you guys, we're excited as hell to be doing this stuff together. And it's like, I have an idea. He has an idea. I call him during the day. He calls me, and we're both like, somebody write this down before we forget our good ideas. Like,
for sure.
That's just the way it goes. We just love doing this. We both of us, it's just, our brains exist in perpetual Notre Dame land. It doesn't matter if it's a bye, if it's the off season. There's always meat on the bone, and we love talking about it. So thanks everybody again just for being here. All of those that have joined the Patreon, it means the world to us, and we wanted to offer this just as a gathering for everybody on YouTube that everybody could have. We really appreciate everybody that's joined. It just means the world to us for this support. So if you're interested in that, to have more exclusive stuff, the links are below in the description, whatever. But for now, we are happy to just be here with all of you talking Notre Dame. Now, Mike, let me ask you this. Last night, you were speaking to me about how you think this game might go, what it might look like, what to expect. I feel like Notre Dame fans are coming out of the bye, hoping this offense looks a lot more put together. There's more efficiency. Maybe we see some new things. We expect the defense to be pretty solid, as they've been. I'm just not sure what we're going to get today. I'm nervous coming out of a bye. Your routine's messed up. I'm not sure what we're going to get. You told me late last night, you feel like this may be an under 30 type scoring game for Notre Dame. Defense a little ugly. What are you seeing there?
Well, it's one of these deals, lot to cover. There's a lot of components to this, but it's one of these deals where this is another team's Super Bowl, right? When we're coming off this big win against SC, but then they also lost to Utah. So was it as big of a game? And we've been away for a couple weeks. It's cold. It's a day game. And folks, as an ex-player, day games at Notre Dame, they can be kind of touch and go in terms of like the energy that you're feeling from the crowd, et cetera, et cetera. Coming out of mass, you're still, getting the sleep out of your eyes. I mean, it's a very real thing as a player. But when I look at the low scoring game, John, you kind of touched on this already. Dude, it comes down to the offense. It's like, again, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're not going to come out and be, the Kurt Warner's St. Louis Rams greatest show on turf. That ain't going to happen, folks.
Yeah.
As much as we want, it ain't going to happen. But like, what are we going to see? You've got a healthy wide receiver room. That's got to matter. But that's really where it comes down to. I take all those kind of ancillary factors, the weather, the time off, Pitt being ramped up. And then I also look at the number, dude. Total points, from Vegas last night. I told you I put a $20 7-team parlay in. The over-under for this game is 45 total points. That's a low number. I mean, that's Iowa, Wisconsin total points. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, all right. Now, let me ask you this. There's no doubt, even though Pitt's 2-5, and I'm not even going to make this about Narduzzi. You know how I feel about him, and I've made that clear to you on Patreon, how much I do not care for that whiny, crybaby little biatch. Every single thing that doesn't go Pitt's way, he's blaming everybody else in the world, and nobody likes a whiner like that. So he's on my shit list.
What's his deal, though, John? What's his deal? Why is he like this?
I think he has an inferiority complex because he's at Pitt, and it's not a destination location for players or coaches. And I think that is behind the axe he has to grind with everybody else that may be a rung above him. That's the feeling I get. He has a perpetual inferiority complex.
Okay.
And he's a whiny little baby. And every single thing that goes wrong for him, he's blaming everybody else. And I'm just sick of it. He is a crybaby, and I want to see him shut up. Now, this game would add a lot more juice if it was Phil versus Notre Dame. If that was the narrative, it would have been instant juice. You don't have that now that he's a tackling dummy in the tight end room, apparently, whatever that is. So now it's like, where's the angle here? The angle is for Notre Dame to salvage this season. They got to go 4-0 on the back end, and you can't go 4-0 till you go 1-0. So that's got to be the angle. It's just.
Well, but the fact that there is no angle, that there is no obvious storyline, I think, John, kind of knowing you, dude, that worries you. You. You don't like the unknown. You don't like the unknown.
Here's what worries me, and I am not sure how to separate this in my brain and practically. What worries me is I have the pulse of the Notre Dame fan base because of what I do every day. The call-in shows. I'm testing the pulse every minute on the call-in shows. I'm on Twitter a lot. Every day I'm trolling on Twitter. So I'm there to see what's going on. What worries me is the USC win buzz kind of wore off after the bye week. Then we got into this week. What worries me is everybody's talking about all the other stuff going on in college football. And I am a part of the problem, Mike. And I'm struggling with that because I have been trolling the shit out of Michigan on YouTube and Twitter all week.
Oh, this is fascinating.
But in the back of my mind, I'm going, am I setting myself up to be kicked in the face by diverting all my attention to trolling everybody else? And I'm overlooking that Notre Dame plays and they got to win this game to salvage anything we're happy about at the end of the year. You got to have it. And now we're at game day and I'm going, did I have a part in setting us all up to sleepwalk into this game all week? And if it happens, I'm going to be mad at myself because I was trolling Michigan instead of saying we need to take this more serious.
That's great. Why do you do this to yourself, John?
It's just who I am, Michael.
Jesus Christ.
Mike, this is just my brain ain't wired right. It's all tangled Notre Dame brain lengths, and they're all like slightly sewn together in my brain. But I don't want to be a part of the reason we all sleepwalk right into this going, it's just Pitt. They're 2-5. You don't have to worry about nothing. That's dangerous, Mike. I hope the team is on a totally different track than the fan base all week because it's been that vibe. We'd rather make fun of Michigan's problems than worry about this.
Well, listen, yeah, because you're going to have, if Notre Dame comes out flat, stinks up the joint, ekes out a win, they win by, 10 points, whatever the case, 14 points. But God forbid if they lose, that's on you, John. You're culpable.
Don't do that to me.
I'm just saying. You just said it.
No. Don't put that on me. Do not do that.
You just said it. Well, you're partially culpable. You just said it.
Let's not act like I am the barometer of all Notre Dame fan engagement, like where our brain.
You're a part of it. You're a part of it. We're talking about fixing the offense. There's levels. There's slices to that pie. You're a piece of that slice.
I'm not saying I'm a slice of it, but some of it's natural, Mike. We all hate Michigan. We all hate USC. We kick the shit out of USC, get into a 2-week bye period. You don't have another game to distract you. It's natural to an extent that we would want to troll Michigan and put out a bunch of tweets and me to record about that on YouTube. It's just creeping up on me that I have a little guilt that if this doesn't go well this afternoon, that I'm going to go, dude, maybe we're all a part of the problem for not focusing enough on this ball game. Now, the flip side of that, Mike, is they're 2-5 and not real good at football. Notre Dame should be able to, at home, as a 19 or 20-point favorite, take care of business. So there's a flip side.
They're not good at football. They're not good at football. I mean, the defense is the strength of the team. You know, they've got an ex-Notre Dame player as their starting tailback. You know, and part of you kind of wants to see Sebo find some success. You do.
Yeah, not against us.
You know,
why can't he find success?
Well, you know, the guy makes a nice long run. You know, I'll be happy for him, right? I mean, as long as it doesn't cost us the game, I'm just saying, you know.
Well, I mean, fine. Yeah, I mean, I guess as long as it doesn't, you know, I mean, sure. If we're up by a lot, go Sebo. Go run yourself wild.
There's like, a little charity run, you know. So
fine.
Yeah, but this should, you know, this game that we're about to we got an hour till kickoff, brother. You got 180 people in here with us. Tremendous. But it's like what we kind of want to see is go way back. Like this game ought to look like the first 4 games of the season when all of us were jumping out of our skin, jumping for joy. This is what an offense looks like. This is what execution looks like. This is clinical. This is, you know, teach tape. This is coach film.
You've been giving me a hard time for that. You have not been letting me get away from that. When we're doing our Patreon content, you are quick to point out, I remember you, John, on your show saying the first 4 games, this is what an operation looks like. And this is, you've been giving me a hard time about it.
You were beside yourself. You were just,
My response to that is they did what they are supposed to do the first 4 games against inferior opponents. They piled up 40-plus points every time. And I have seen 25 Notre Dame seasons in my life where they play dog crap opponents for 4 weeks and still struggle. So to me, that was a big sign. Maybe we're onto something here. This is different. We're actually doing what we should against those lower level opponents. The problem is you got into your big month of misery and everything changed, and the defenses were tougher and the offense got bogged down. And so you said it on our show privately. You had 2 distinct 4-game blocks. That first 4 to do whatever and feel good. Then we had the last 4 where it got tough. The question is, what are the final 4 going to be? Kind of in the middle? What can we expect out of the final 4? You got to get them all, Mike. You got to get them all. Nobody's here for 9-3 with Sam Hartman. 10-2 is the bottom, and you wasted your 2.
Well, let's start with this afternoon. You got 4 left. Let's start with the first one, Pitt. So we're talking about we were talking last night. I said in terms of the first 4 games, the 40-plus, you know, outburst, right? You know, just crisp execution, right, etc. To this guy, Pitt has the best defense. If we're going to lump Pitt into that group of 4, the first, you know, Pitt has the best defense. So I think, and they just kind of play like old school, like almost throwback line up and play football. And they're going to be juiced up. Again, this is another team Super Bowl.
No, wait.
Hang on, let me finish.
No,
let me finish, John. All right.
Hurry up. Fine.
Go ahead. Well, I don't know.
I got that one. I threw you off and you lost it. I won that one, baby.
Go ahead.
Yes, I got it. That's 1-0, baby. That's 1-0. You're gonna have to chase from behind now. Let me ask you this. Why are you sure? Why are you starting your opinion with, oh, Pitt's coming in here and it's their Super Bowl? The difference is all the other people's Super Bowls, they were undefeated and actually had things to play for. Why are you assuming 2-5 Pitt's going to come in here? They don't have what's on the line all the other Super Bowl teams did, because everyone we faced were undefeated. They literally had a reason to believe their season was going somewhere. These guys are 2-5. Are you sure they're going to come in there that fired up? It can't be your Super Bowl if you're not even eligible to be in one.
I'm positive.
Why?
Well, I'm positive. They've got 3 ex-Notre Dame players on their team, 2 of which are starting. You know, and again, so it's like some of these older players, if you're an older player on Pitt, and they've been through hell and back just like older players on Notre Dame have, John, and you could sit there and go, like, we had a shit senior year, but we knocked off Notre Dame. Does that make sense?
Oh, of course it makes sense.
I mean, that's the logic. They'll tell their kids, they'll tell their grandkids, like, I played it. And they'll take their grandkids back to Notre Dame State and be like, we won here. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
You got to acknowledge there is a practical difference in that Super Bowl mentality when you're an undefeated team. Like when we were facing Louisville, they literally were undefeated were at championship dreams.
John,
you don't think that 2-5 is going to alter that mentality at all, deep in their minds?
Hey, listen, when you're a Mike linebacker and whoever, Rocco Spindler's pulling to kick me out. When I'm thinking about making contact, I am not thinking about our overall record.
Yeah.
I'm living in that moment as a football player.
Yeah.
It just is. It is what it is. I mean, if anything, I'm going to do it to you. Start stirring.
Yeah.
Get you wound up here. Get you wound up. If anything, John, if you're talking about 2-5, if anything, Notre Dame's the team that comes out flat. Notre Dame's the team that comes out flat. You're coming off. I mean, that USC win was a big, big win.
Yeah, and you've had half a month to process it, pat yourself on the back, and get ready for the back end where you got to go 4-0. Mike, no Notre Dame fan is open to the idea that Pitt's going to muck this thing up and muddy it up the way Pitt and BC do to us regularly, even when they're down, kind of make it an ugly fight. No Notre Dame fans open to this being like 10-7 at halftime. People are going to lose their minds, bro. We don't want to come out of the bye and then it's like this ugly slugfest with a 2-5 Pitt. I'm just telling you, that might be how this game starts. Notre Dame fans are not in the mood for that. They're not in the mood.
So do you think it's going to start a little slow?
It would not surprise me at all if it started a little slow, everybody gets worked up, and then Notre Dame breaks it open later. I could, if you made me put money on the most likely way this goes, that's what I would say, is that it looks a little sleepy to start, and then Notre Dame starts doing things. I think Notre Dame's defense is going to have a good day. Pitt's defense is really solid. Our offense has problems. I expect Notre Dame's defense to cause them problems. I do. And we talked about this on Patreon as well. Pitt is one of those teams, man. Even when they're down, sometimes they play Notre Dame tough. And we've seen it over decades. There's just something about like Pitt and BC where they could not be good and find a way to make you play an ugly dogfight you don't want to be in. I've seen it too many times with those two programs.
Who are you talking to, John? Who are you talking to? I lost the Pitt. Yeah. I lost the Pitt. I think it was.
I'm telling the wrong guy. I'm telling the wrong guy that story.
I told you, my father.
What is it about them?
We got hosed. We got hosed that game. My father got physically ill after that game. He vomited. He was disgusted at the refereeing. So yeah, my face is getting red. I lost the Pitt, dude. As a fifth-year senior, I lost to Tyler Palco and those bums over there. I did. And they have like a Boston College. I mean, Boston College and Pitt, they have a little bit of that like giant killer in their DNA.
Yeah.
All it takes is one punch sometimes. You hit somebody in a button right on their chin, it's lights out. So, and then this is a game, Freeman's talked about, we're done, rotating offensive linemen. I'm here for that. But you do, against the 2-5 team, you do want to forecast, John, getting some young kids in the game. So when do you do that? How many points do you need to be up against?
Well,
because again, we're building a program. So I've got a 2-5 team on my schedule. It's like, okay, I want to get you.
Look at you. You just jumped 5 steps ahead, Mike. You were the same guy that was saying to me, I really don't appreciate the way Freeman and the staff built up Louisville week by letting it be known we were going to rotate guys and get a lot of different guys in the game. And you're the one who suggested to me that's dangerous, because once that became known in the practice week, it told the team,
well, listen,
we're going to blow these guys out. We're going to be able to rotate people. And then we got in a game and got beat. So now how are you already getting ahead to how we're going to empty the benches?
Why do you do this? Listen,
put
this on because.
How about that for a damn answer, buddy? Because it's just the way it is. But now you're getting ahead to that. You're getting ahead of yourself.
I'm not your daughter. You can't say because I said so. You can't do that to me.
He doesn't listen anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
But there's levels to this stuff, as you like to say. But that's another T-shirt idea. There's levels to this stuff. So, making it known publicly and making it known in the locker room amongst the team, like, hey, fellas, we're going to look to rotate this week. That's one thing, and again, Louisville was undefeated. It was a night game on the road. Again, that's their Super Bowl. So, and again, if you make it known to your players internally, we're going to rotate guys. It makes guys take their foot off the gas. Just human nature. We're lazy.
Yeah.
But I think in the coaching room, amongst the staff, would be like, hey guys, who are we thinking about? We want to see more of on the back half of the season in the way of young guys. So that's something else to look at, is like, when do you start to see those guys plugged in? A Jaden Mickey, Burnham's a little bit, obviously Snead's a big one.
Yeah.
Do you start to see some young guys on the offensive line? And speaking of young guys, this is just a thought. I do think that Pitt is going to just kind of gum up the run game, John. I could just see it. So with that, I do think maybe we see some play action shots, somebody getting loose. Ironically, it wouldn't surprise me if Tobias Merriweather makes a play today. I think taking him out of the spotlight is good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Takes the spotlight, takes the pressure off of him. You just go play ball. You're going to get some run this week. But we still are looking for a breakout game from Jeremiah Love. And I'm kind of like, fingers crossed over here, this might be the week.
Yeah. It's I don't know, man. It's really first off, thanks, Pat, for putting the links of the sponsor of the shows and all my merch stuff and the Patreon in there. Thank you, Patrick. And then score update for you guys. I have it on the other screen here. Florida State 34, Wake 10, late third quarter. Oklahoma 21, Kansas 17. So Oklahoma's bounced back in that one. Indiana 14, Penn State 24. Penn State's bounced back in that one. Giving you some score updates there. It's Mike, where Notre Dame's at right now, it's just kind of an interesting balance of the year and kind of where we're at. And it's just, I just don't think Notre Dame fans have a lot of patience right now, Mike. Like, they're frustrated with the offense.
What do you want to see?
You want to see a real world offense, Mike. You want to see that. And if you're talking about, I think Pitt's going to try and, gum up the run game. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? When you look at Notre Dame's passing output, especially the last month, that seems to be the wise move, is to try and hold up that run game and then say, I dare you to try and throw it and beat us.
Yeah.
Like, that's what everybody should probably do. Ooh, Brian, New York, Clemson's down 7-0.
Jeez.
They are struggling. And I'm not ready to get into that one yet. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But nobody's in the mood to see Notre Dame struggle today. And it's just and it's all there for you. Like you said, man, coming out of the bye, little chillier weather. It's an afternoon game. Pitt's 2-5. All of that. I've seen this lead into Notre Dame games 50 times, and it's sleepy and ugly.
Yeah.
Come out and make plays early. Is it wrong of fans to just say, I want to see the team come out of a bye with a lot of energy, pep in their step, bounce with a renewed, their batteries are charged back up? Is that a real thing? I mean, that's what fans think. You got 2 weeks to get healthy and rest up. I want to see some energy. Nobody wants to see a sluggish start. Like, you can't go 4-0 in the back end until you go 1-0. And
that's right.
It starts today, damn it.
That's right. So I think, the offensive recipe, maybe the prescription here for this week, we got to throw early. Let's test them early. And if we have success, John, why can't we keep it up? I think that, Freeman wants to run the ball, right? Offensive line, defensive line. That's the way he wants to build the character of the program, et cetera. Let's air it out early. I don't think that Pitt's coming into this game being like, we're going to play zero coverage and we're going to bring the house on passing downs. I think their sole focus is going to be stopping the run game. So I think you kind of do. And this goes back to some of the frustrations with Parker, offensive coordinator, is some of the moves that you might make are kind of freaking obvious. They're kind of freaking obvious. And that's where the frustration comes from, because you're like, buddy, this ain't that difficult. But I think I like the concept of coming out, throwing early, and that allows you, John, that allows you folks to get some pop, get some energy, right? Get some pep in your step, right?
Yeah.
Versus we come out and it's 2 yards, cloud of dust, 1.5 yards, cloud of dust, 3rd and 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Air it out.
Should play action be more of a staple in the Notre Dame offense? Should, when you have a guy like Sam Hartman who's capable of making that work, why do you think we have not seen more of that when you know that he's capable of doing it? And it causes a defense to kind of pause and figure out what's going on for a quarter second. That's all you need. Why have we not seen more of that this year? Why?
Can I get into this linebacker stance, dude? John, do you mind?
You can do whatever you want to do.
Well, I'm connected with this wire. But again, if I'm playing inside linebacker and that quarterback is under center, it's bait. Like, any fisherman out there, it's bait. It's that little spinner bait going by the weed beds, right? Like it makes you as a linebacker want to step up when a quarterback is under center running play action. Along with that, like linebacker play, it's slow until you know. Slow till you know. And then when somebody's in shotgun, it's just a much clearer picture for a linebacker. Any sort of play action out of shotgun, John, just is not as effective. And I couldn't necessarily put my finger on that, dude, but it's just not as effective. When that quarterback's under center and he turns his back, to hand off or not, it creates a bigger sense of urgency from guys like me to come up.
Yeah.
Which creates, obviously throwing lanes. Why don't we do it? If you're going to do it, John, this guy's opinion, you got to do it from under center. And when you go back, I was watching the Ohio State game last night. After I got off the phone with you, sick. I'm watching the Ohio State game. We had a couple really nice runs. Estimated a couple really nice runs from where? Under center.
Yeah.
So these are the things, and in Pitt in particular, they have very aggressive safeties. They're downhill. So I again, flashing them that look. They're already coming into the game with the mentality, we got to stop the run. I think I do want to see some like play action shots and probably early.
Yeah.
It's just so obvious.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, the offense isn't world beaters. We all know that. And they're having some issues. I do think getting both the Jadens back more healthy, that's going to help right away. Not only in pass catching, but both those guys are pretty good blockers too. And they're a big part of all that.
God, I hate that. I freaking hate that, dude. It's a real pet peeve. I've never said this aloud before.
What's a pet peeve? Having a wide receiver that can block? Why don't you sue me? Sue me. What do you have a problem with that for? Do you want him not to block?
You know what I want him to do, John?
What? Catch
passes. Go deep. Get open.
That. How dare
I want him to dance into the end zone.
How dare you?
When we sit there, we as Notre Dame fans sit there and settle like, oh, dude, have you seen him block? It's like, get out of here.
I know.
You're gonna go. Did Jerry Rice go into the Hall of Fame? Is he the GOAT because he was a great blocker? I'm sure he was, but that's not, there's more to the position. Jesus.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
No, I get it, but it is something that's talked about often when a wide receiver can also block. It's considered an additional feature because they can be out there doing more than one thing.
That's a character thing. I mean, Notre Dame, you're never going to see Notre Dame recruit kids that won't be willing blockers. That's a DNA thing.
You can be willing and not good at it, though. You can will all you want. If you're not good at it, then it doesn't matter how much you will, right?
No, it's all will. It's all will, John. Who are you talking to? It's all will. How hard is it to block a 185-pound corner? Jesus Christ. It's not that difficult. It's all about intent,
So I'm open to see some of that, man. And I just don't – it's just a weird vibe this week, man. You know me. You always call me out. You're the vibes guy. And sometimes it's in jest, and you'll go, John, you're the vibes guy. I'm just saying – it's just been a little sleepy running into this week. And the best thing that can happen this afternoon is Notre Dame makes a play early, offense or defense. That'll wake up that crowd and we'll be good. We'll be good to go from there. But if this grinds on for any decent amount of time and is frustrating, you're going to start hearing the murmurs in the crowd, like it's going to be a little rough. And it is.
Yeah. But you can't even talk about that, John. Go back Go back to after the Louisville loss, right? And the sentiment, the vibe, and then like literally it's completely flipped. That vibe has been completely flipped on its head now. So we're like, oh my God, it's over. Fire Freeman. And in 1 week's time, now it's like, we need to see 50 points or else. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny?
It is. But you got to admit, though, okay, everything that happens with Notre Dame land is magnified and overblown, whether it's good or bad. Notre Dame's one of those programs where whatever happens is going to be magnified, and it just, good or bad, it doesn't matter. Michigan's similar, and that's all part of their dynamic with what's going on. Everything they do gets bigger. We're one of those programs. So we are already predisposed, especially as a fan base, to ride those emotional waves more than most because Notre Dame is Notre Dame, and that is just a different thing. You got to admit, the roller coaster this year has been so extreme. It's absolutely wild. The buildup all the way to Ohio State, coming a half an inch from pulling it off to that crash and burn. Then you have the Duke rising, and you escape that one. Then you had the crash and burn after Louisville. Everybody's feeling shitty about everything in their life. And then you go beat USC and you do it convincingly. And then we're flying high again.
Oh my God.
Dude, we are riding this wave. You know how much we're riding the wave? We're riding the waves as much as the USC fans do that claim they're in the Coliseum every Saturday when they're out there on their surfboards. That's how much we're riding the waves. This has been an extremely volatile roller coaster. Extreme. Even for us.
I don't think you can talk about the season without talking about the off season. I mean, the off season was just as wild, just as tumultuous. So I keep thinking about this. I'm looking at the chat. Do we think that we're going to win by 21? Do you think that in your soul, John?
Probably not. But if they win by 17 or something, like, are we in a position to be that mad about it? Like, that's the way I look at it too, though. Who are we to be like, we won by not 3 touchdowns? That's not good enough. I just don't know what to expect. But if you won by 17 or whatever coming out of the bye, I don't think anybody's going to freak out unless it's 17-0. Like, it can't just be 17. I think the fans want to see offense, Mike. They want to see this offense look a little better.
Yeah. Of course they do.
That's the big thing. I think we expect that defense to be pretty good and representative.
It's beautiful. So I think. I mean, we might have the again. I'm going to call it the prescription. Crack another one, John. I see it. You got a little cooler down there.
Don't worry about what I got going on. Don't worry about that, okay? Why don't you mind your own stuff?
I only had 2. I only got 2 up here. I'm working on an empty stomach, though.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't have mine in the shower, okay?
That's fair. Well, I forgot 3. Yeah, 3. So I think the prescription, what we're concerned about is coming out a little flat. We all agree. I think we're worried about coming out a little bit flat. You know, to satiate the fan base, you do want to see a real, offense. So I do think the prescription in this game is to air it out early, in particular with some play action shots. And again, a big play early is going to give the team some juice that we're worried that they may not have just because.
Yeah.
You know, the defense is going to do their thing. Areas of concern, John, if I'm Pitt, you're trying to find any little chink in our armor. We did give up a couple long returns against USC. Now, granted, it was this true freshman, Zachariah Branch. He's a special player, but like if I'm Pitt, we can be had there. You've seen it. So that's another little area of concern is the return game, special teams wise.
Oh, come on, man. I am notorious for having zero. There's zero. I refuse to accept special teams mistakes, Mike. Special teams should be special things. It needs to be the thing you have the most control over. And that if you're a disciplined and know your job, I have zero tolerance for bad special teams. I lost my mind with Brian Polian under Kelly at Notre Dame. I laughed and loved it when Polian followed him and ruined LSU special teams. And that only lasted 1 year. I have zero tolerance for special teams problems. And Notre Dame got a big special teams play in their last football game. And it was needed. And it was at the right time when USC came back. We cracked one. Ride that momentum. Ride that momentum, baby.
Okay,
I know
so
it's been half a month. Ride that shit. Ride it, JD. Let's go.
That return in particular showed a lot because that was off the back of their big return. And it was almost like you could feel those USC softies kind of take their foot off the gas. They're like, okay, this is what we needed. Floodgates are open. Here comes the comeback. And Notre Dame was like, can you use a middle finger on YouTube? Can you do that? I don't know what the rules are.
I think you could do that, yeah.
But, ND was like, right back to you. And that's a character thing for me. And, I don't know if you saw that with a Brian Kelly coach team, a Bill Polian coach team. What's Polian's first name? The coach.
Brian.
I'm thinking of Bill, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why he's there, because of Brian. But anyways, yeah. So, I mean, that was a character thing. So maybe you see a reflection of that character this week and we come out and, handle business.
Yeah. And then let me ask you, I don't know how to determine.
All these people, I'm reading these score predictions. They're in the 40s.
Oh, I would love it. I would, but that's.
Well, so would I. I don't mean it's going to happen. I'd love a million people watching this right now.
But I'm glad you brought that up because it leads me into kind of my next point is last night you were talking about 28, 17, 28, somewhere in there. Wouldn't surprise me or whatever, that kind of thing. My question to you is, and you're a defensive player and you know what you're looking for when you're analyzing defenses. How much of your score prediction is based on Notre Dame's offensive struggles and limitations? And how much of it is based on you looking at Pitt and going, you know what, they're not great, but the defense is going to hang in there and be kind of a pain in the ass for Notre Dame. In your mind, with your experience as a player, knowing what you're looking for, how much of your score prediction, ND under 30, has to do with us versus them? I don't know how to decipher that.
So in no particular order, great question, John, by the way. Well done.
Well, thank you, sir.
In no particular order, my low score prediction is factored off of the environment, the day game. And I can't tell you.
Wait, you mean the wine tasting? Or what? What do you mean the environment? The wine tasting or what?
No, I'm just saying as a player, a day game at Notre Dame Stadium in cold weather against a 2-5 team. Yeah. I don't know how to, and I know shame on us as players, shame on us that we don't come out there rocked up, I'm just telling you, it's a reality of being a player.
Yep.
Midterms are over. So the environment is my number one concern.
Yeah.
Coming off the USC game, the day game, the weather, the Pitt Super Bowl, that's number one, the environment. 2 is, our offense. I mean, our offense looked great against, the first 4 teams of the season. Navy, respect the hell out of them for what they are, but they're trash. Yeah. Tennessee State was trash. Central Michigan was trash. I mean, these aren't even FBS football or Power 5 football teams. So a couple of them aren't even FBS teams.
Yeah.
So Pitt is a legitimate FBS team. They're a Power 5 team. And they've got a decent defense. And our offense, the concerns there, that's number 2, 2.5. And then I think that another factor to consider, John, is the young players. I just feel like we're gonna work some. I mean, if Sam Hartman's taking snaps at the back half of the fourth quarter, we got freaking problems, brother.
Yeah.
So I just think you're gonna see some younger players kind of rolled in, and that'll probably keep the score down. These are my thoughts. Fourth and last.
Wait.
Vegas has got the number at 45.
Oh, wait. Philosophically, I don't understand what you're saying. Before Notre Dame's got the game in hand, I don't think you're in the position to rotate a bunch of younger guys. This is what we're saying. You got to make sure you're going to win the game before you start wanting to get bonus snaps for a sophomore somewhere, bro.
That's what we're saying.
You got to make sure you're going to win the game first before you get into that.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
How can it be your plan unless
Whoa,
it's
so what is
like,
the number? Let's talk about this. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Leave a comment. Leave it in the comment, even if you watch this post, live. This is interesting, John. So if you're Coach Marcus Freeman, let him cook. But how many points do you, John, you son of a bitch, how many points do you need to be up
yeah, I love
to
you
play
too.
some younger guys?
I love you too, partner. I'm just saying.
No, answer the question. How many points?
It makes me uncomfortable. 3 scores. How about
21.
that? Give me 3 scores. Like, it just makes me uncomfortable to hear you being like, we're going to rotate guys in and this and that and all that. And then 20 minutes ago, you're telling me this is these guys' Super Bowl.
It is.
And I'm having trouble rationalizing both of those living in my mind at the same time of you talking about getting younger guys reps. 20 minutes ago, you were saying it was their Super Bowl. Both of those don't line up. Something's got to give before we worry about emptying out the bench and getting Rudy off the end to get a sack. You better get ahead by a few scores, man.
It's a 2. I mean, when you look at it objectively, guys, it's a 2-5 football team. They're not good at football. So you're going to sit there and go, I'm not saying, and again, you're not letting your team know, you're not putting it out publicly about the I'm not even going to go there about the transfer quarterback. I thought I had a segue. I'm going to stay away from it. But you, like, pre-Louisville, you let your team know, hey guys, we like our chances this week. We're going to plan on rotating some guys. And that's coming off a bad performance against Duke at a lot of positions, specifically offensive line. You make that known publicly. Your team trusts the coaching staff, and they go, okay, we got this in the bag. They pull back on their prep, et cetera, et cetera. You saw what happened. You get smacked in the mouth. We're playing a 2-5 football team. As a coaching staff, you are thinking, okay, there's a high likelihood that we might be able to roll in some younger dudes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but dude, they're 2-5.
Yeah. Yeah. But
if you go up by 21 and then you've got your younger guys in, I'm just telling you, it's going to keep the score down.
I don't know I struggle on a game like this against a team like this. What I am struggling with is straddling the line of you need to respect every opponent, and Pitt has a history of playing Notre Dame tough and gritty and grindy and all that. I'm having trouble trying to figure out where I need to show that respect to our opponent, even though they're 2-5. And saying on the other side, having a little confidence, going they're 2-5, you got them at home, you're a 20-point favorite by now, kick the shit out of these guys at your house. And I struggle to find the fair balance of respect for that dynamic and also confidence in my guys that they're a better team than these guys. That's where I struggle personally, is where to walk that line of healthy respect for them, but also acknowledging they're 2-5 for a reason. That's different than the last 4 games where everybody was literally, not figuratively, literally undefeated. I struggle to walk that line.
Well, that's why. Why am I here, John? Why am I here? I'm here to give you the player perspective, right?
Yeah, you are.
You're the fan guy. You're the vibe guy, and you do it well. You do it better than anybody else. And I'm the player guy.
Yeah.
So we sit there and go, I'll grant you that, John. We're going to go out there and whoop that ass, right? We're going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, the Japan Bowl. Nice job, Pat, by the way.
Yeah,
deep cut.
That's my guy, man. That's my guy. And he messaged me when you started talking about that, and he goes, that is the most interesting thing. I'm going to look that up. Mike, Pat.
Let me finish the thought.
Yeah, go.
If we sit there and go, we're going to beat that ass, and like you get up, again, it goes back to the human nature thing. Like, what do you want us to win? 85-0? Like, there is a degree where it's like, okay, boom, 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 boom. It's like, third quarter, coming out of halftime. Yeah. It's just the foot tends to come off the gas.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And It's also easy to, and I'm already seeing some of this. It looks like in the chat, Mike, Will Shipley just took a hit and appears to be injured. That could be a very relevant thing going into next week. I'm seeing a bunch of chats about that kid taking a shot. It's just Notre Dame so unique, Mike. All these game dynamics. You're talking about that Super Bowl factor. I never feel like Notre Dame gets any credit for that nationally. Like I never hear anybody say, you know what, man, Notre Dame's playing all these teams from all these different conferences, different styles of football all across the country, and they got to adapt. And everybody's up to play them. Notre Dame doesn't get any credit for that. And it is a real thing that they have to overcome every single week. What is our 11th, or if I had to rank like biggest games of the year on the schedule, what ranks is 9, 10, 11, 12 on our fan importance list, or what you're going to get up for as a fan? It doesn't matter. The other team, we're number 1 or 2 on every single one of these teams' schedule. If we're not number 1, we're number 2. Notre Dame has no leeway to sleepwalk into anything, but I also can't expect every one of you guys as players to be emotionally cranked up to 11 every week. That's not fair to you either. So the answer is, you just need to be good enough to beat them, even if it is their Super Bowl. How about that as an answer? Be good enough. You don't have to have your emotions on 12. Beat them anyways in their Super Bowl, and the hell with them.
Well, listen, I think with Freeman coming around, with, again, USC tanking, Clemson tanking, Michigan's about to blow up the program. They're gonna demolish the big house. It's over. It's over.
I want it.
Make it a parking lot. Turn the big house into a parking lot.
I need it.
That's what I'm saying. It's over. It's over. You can snip that. That's a promo, John. F those guys. But I'm saying, Notre Dame's at a very unique spot for the first time in a very, very, very long time that we could kind of raise the image of the program, the perception of the program, and kind of slide into being, marquee. And a lot of that is because of Freeman, the cachet, the charisma, the look, the chest. The guy's money.
Yep.
But as a player, so again, as I said, it's hard to keep your foot on the pedal. And, it's just like, you've already, your foot's been on the throat for 3 quarters. Like eventually you're going to step off the throat.
Yeah.
But you know what sees you through that is talent.
Yep.
It's talent. So it's like, even though I'm not coming out just,
yep,
foaming at the mouth, it's like we're still just better, and then it ends up you kind of like the continuation of the beatdown.
But the issue is, who you see that a lot with, Mike? I see that a lot with Georgia in the SEC. That's a great, and those are great examples where their talent is superior because they're recruiting in the top 3 or 4 every year, perpetually, that. I see that a lot with those type of teams where it's kind of close, but eventually your margin of error is so big.
I got a thought.
Georgia's going to make a few plays and they're going to grind you out, and their talent's going to end up winning the day. My issue is Notre Dame is not at a point as a program yet where they have that margin that a team like Georgia that recruits in the top 3 every year has. John. We are not at the level to have that margin of error, which means we got to be on our shit all the time, Mike. We're not there yet. We're trying to get there, but we ain't there yet.
All signs point to Coach Freeman. Coach Freeman's bringing in the talent. And then, so if you're not quite there, let's talk about, you mentioned Georgia. I'm going to say Bama. Same concept. Bama was losing last week to Tennessee, and I don't know if the game was played at Tennessee or at Bama. But, there's so many games that Bama wins, you're like, they just win. And part of it's talent. The other part is they got Saban.
Yeah. What about Tommy Boy, the savior, the boy wonder, the genius?
Hey, listen, that's something that you and I do not agree on. you and I do not agree on. I don't think he's that bad of a play caller. I think he's a terrible developer. I'll grant all that.
It's not even my opinion. So if we're not going to agree on it, we cannot agree on it. But that's not the reason.
Hey, what'd you say last night? You said your concern about this show was that it was going to get off the rails talking about Michigan.
Yeah,
we've done a good job talking about Pitt. Now you're trying to talk about
shit about Tommy. No, listen, Mike. Follow me. This is as logical.
I have no choice. Go.
That's a very good point. This is as logical as I can make this. Tommy might be great. He might be a visionary. He might be the future, whatever. I don't care. But when he was at our place, it wasn't good enough. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like, he may be a genius. Maybe he just needs better talent to make his plan work, whatever. But when he was with us, there was nothing about the offense that was impressive or elite or stood out at all. It just wasn't. Statistically, none of those offenses cracked the top 40, whatever, dude. Maybe he just needs more talent. But when he was here as a recruit, player, or coach, there was never any hint of elite ever in any of it ever. Ever.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going there. But of course he needs more talent. We didn't even have a slant in the offense because Drew Pine can't throw one because he's 5'9". We didn't even have a slant in the offense because he can't deliver the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, it's interesting that you look at Hartman, because Hartman hasn't played great. That's another thing we'd like to see. And that comes back to like having an explosive offense.
No. Wait. Look at this. Look at this chat, Mike. Watch the screen right now.
Go ahead. So what's going to happen? I say no.
Yeah.
Mel Kiper put his thing out there.
Yeah.
There's a guy that, I'm friends with an NFL exec, right? He's an assistant GM in the league.
Oh, fancy, Mike.
Hey, well, he was a former Notre Dame guy.
I'm NFL Nebraska Mike. Look at me. Oh, fancy. Look at you flashing your credentials. Look at you.
Hey, well, you want the answer. Who knows better than that guy, And he's a former Notre Dame guy. He was there when I was at Notre Dame. Stayed in touch.
So do you think he's going to be
let me answer the question.
Undrafted free agent? And this is the guy that came in here. We were all sold is going to make the Notre Dame offense elite and everything. And you're telling me that our upgrade is going to be an undrafted free agent. Our upgrade is an undrafted free agent. That's what we're doing here now at Notre Dame. A sixth-year guy upgrade is that ain't what we're here for, Mike. I ain't here for that. I'm not here for that.
I'm biting my tongue over here, but I'm just saying. So everybody's like, "Oh, well, Hartman went to Notre Dame to be in a pro-style offense, to get out of the slow mesh at Wake Forest, to develop his game, his skill set, put more pro-style tape on film for the NFL." And I've argued since January 1st on YouTube. I got a rant. It's my Sistine Chapel of rants.
Yeah.
He came to Notre Dame because it was the best opportunity, like the best NIL thing. Like he's making more money, and this NFL exec said the exact same thing. And that's not unique to Hartman. It's a lot of these guys. He is making more money at Notre Dame this year than he would have even if he was a fifth round pick.
So, but wait,
he's not that talented. He's great. I love him. He's been great for the program, been a tremendous ambassador. I love everything about it. But I'm saying when you're looking at a skill set, CJ Carr's more talented. Kenny Minchie's more talented. Deuce Knight's more gifted, more talented. And everybody's like, well, he set all these records. It's like he's been doing it for 5 years, John.
Yeah. So then I guess here's where I'm going to turn this then.
But I like Sam Hartman.
Here's where we're going to, it really sounds like it. Here's where we're going to need to turn to. Here's where it needs to turn to then. All I hear from Notre Dame fans is our NIL isn't good enough. Our NIL needs to bump up for us to compete. And then now everybody's saying NIL is the reason we got the best quarterback available in the portal. So maybe I need to back off my Notre Dame needs to be more out front with their NIL stuff then.
No, I think, and Hartman is so fascinating, man. I can't wait to hope. Yeah, like I said, the Hartman thing has been so fascinating because you know, the NIL thing's been very good to him. Like Notre Dame and what the Notre Dame network, et cetera, the cachet, the brand name has brought to Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not, if he transferred to Auburn, you ain't getting that. You ain't getting that.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about, it's kind of the elephant in the room. I mean, Sam Hartman is gorgeous. The guy's incredibly good looking. And like, is he getting the Dollar Shave Club without the looks? Is he getting the Dove NIL deal without the looks? Is he getting, boom, 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 you name it, Axe body spray, whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the next transfer quarterback that you're going to get next year, folks. He better be handsome.
Now, wait, whoa. Wait a second now. Are you certain we're going down that path again?
I said it in January, brother.
You think they're going? Is
God,
it going to be Cam
so
Rising? What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing there?
I can't tell you who.
But isn't it hard to say we're going to do it, but you don't even know who it could be yet? Doesn't that tell you you're in a bad spot?
You got this way of being like, listen, I don't know who it is.
A way of being logical and trying to have the answers to the questions. Yeah, how dare I? I better
I'm
back
just saying,
up.
I don't know who it is.
You can't. No, you're not allowed to be like, I'm sure we're going to do this. And then the next step is, well, if you're that sure, you got to give me a name. And then you go, I don't know yet. That comes off to me like Notre Dame's desperate then. And they're not in their own house developing.
No. I could tell you I don't know who it is, but I could also tell you I know who it ain't going to be. And then I also take that with Marcus Freeman in terms of like what he values so much at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
He values experience. In this quarterback competition with Sam, it was like that was at the number one criteria. And again, if you do bring in another transfer, I want the criteria to be public. I want it to be posted. Here's the 5 things that we're taking into account. You've been talking about how important it is to evaluate your current kids, your current roster. Yeah. I love that. I mean, it's a huge decision. But he values experience. And then, Notre Dame football, they do their own podcast where they got a little panel and it's Coach Freeman and a different couple of players. They had Jean-Baptiste, right? The defensive end transfer from, and I think Xavier Watts. And they were talking about what is the most difficult position to play. Is it corner, Ben Morrison's Cam Hart, or is it quarterback? And Marcus Freeman's like, he says in his new role as a head coach, he had no idea how difficult the quarterback position is. And this is a guy that played in the NFL. This is a guy that was a hell of a, Big Ten linebacker. And he's just now at 37, 38 years old being like, damn, quarterback's hard. So you take all of that prior experience talk, and then he's learning how difficult the position is. This is his program. He is not going to want to put it in the hands of a unproven kid.
I mean, I get that.
Won that one, dude.
I mean, I get it.
1-1.
You're acting. Dude, philosophically, we disagree with like the path you're going down, because you can't be like, well, Freeman values experience. Yeah, no shit, Mike. Every coach feels more comfortable with the guy running out there that has 4 years under his belt or 5 years or whatever. But what I'm saying is, at some point, Notre Dame's going for long-term stability. Notre Dame's going to have to hitch their wagon to a guy who isn't a one and done and be able to develop and have stability and build around that guy and build cohesion with the young receivers, learning how everybody moves.
You're building a program.
And I'm starting to feel like, okay, we did it with Cone. We did it with Hartman. Now we're going to do a third time. At some point, do you feel like Notre Dame's most stable path upwards is hitching their wagon to a young guy, and he's your guy? You're willing to deal with some young mistakes, but we all develop together. Don't you feel like that's the path? And if you do you just feel like Notre Dame's just not there yet?
I agree. Yes, that is the path. Again, I said this in January when you brought Hartman in. I thought that Buckner had the potential based off of the way he played in that bowl game. I thought he had the potential to build around. I might be wrong there. But yes, at some point you have to pick a guy and say, this is who we're going to roll with, and we're going to build a program.
Yeah.
And even if it's a transfer that you get for like 2 years, a 1-year rental is problematic. So then Sam, so like a guy like Angeli, he's been here, 2-3 years, busting his ass. And then you bring in another transfer that's just gifted the position.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, and then what does that do to, like, the competitive dynamic, et cetera? What does that do for high school football recruiting?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But John, going back to Reese, going back to Brian Kelly, Swamp Thing, as you call him.
Yeah.
The reason that we're in this position is those two. And so
no. We got like 10 minutes left in the show. We're not going to go down a path where John starts taking bullets from everybody for saying some of the reason this program isn't where it needs to be has to do with what happened before.
Why would you take bullets? That's 100% accurate.
No, are you shitting me? Every week on my show, I take shit going, John, you're still blaming Brian Kelly for some of the problems here. We're in year 2 of Marcus. Never mention Kelly again. And I say you're still dealing with some of the problems that guy caused.
I think we got to get out of here. I think the game's about to start.
What is it?
Any super chats we didn't answer, anything like that?
It's 2:20. We got a few minutes. Let's hit them. We got a couple more minutes.
Let's get to
Parker is holding Sam back. End of story. And there's other people who don't think he's fully healthy, which is interesting.
But you're one of them. Yeah. We don't like Parker's offense. I'm telling you that Sam wasn't that great of a quarterback to begin with. He's fine.
Or he would have went
the
to
offense
the league.
He came out of was all jump balls. It was just 3-step drop, jump ball, jump ball, jump ball. It wasn't,
Yeah. $2 holler from Adam. He's at the game, tailgating in the North lot, says the energy's good. It's good to have that. James with the $10 holler. Need a big win. Much love from Section 124. That's a regular of mine. ND Gal, that's a regular of mine as well. Been gardening and drinking mimosas all day. She's cranked up. She's always cranked up. And she's asking if we can recognize what the 1002 represents. Can you guess what this amount means? That it's $10.02 specifically. I don't know. $10 holler from Tom Chris. Love listening to you guys. Keep it up. It was wonderful seeing you and the wife at the Central Tailgate. My only regret is there was a lot going on. I didn't have as much time with you guys, and I appreciate that. $5 holler from the V1 Rotate. That's a morning guy. We ain't losing anything called Pitt. Come on, guys. They already played their Super Bowl. And by 21, our defense is too good. I think the defense is going to have a lot to do with it today. And then the $10 holler here. Hey, Mike, nice cop mustache. Thanks for being on the same page with me on the Drew Pine comparison. That hurt me, man, when you went there. That hurt me. It did. You brought up those percentages. And it was a little disturbing, man.
Well, and that's the thing, and that's where, and I've been met with a ton of backlash in terms of my opinion on Sam Hartman. Just me saying that Sam Hartman doesn't walk on water offends people. Mm-hmm. And it offends people because they spent the whole offseason, building up this sense of hope, and then you're coming in and stepping on their hopes and dreams. And I'm just saying, objectively speaking,
I'm a part of that, Mike. I'm a part of that because all summer I said this offense is going to be better no matter what because Sam Hartman's at a different level of passing and processing than everything else. So maybe I'm a part of that as well. Andrew Gilmore, he's a regular caller, regular contributor. He's subscribed to the Patreon. He's one of my main callers all the time.
The Patreon's fun. It's fun as shit. It's fun.
Dude, it's nice to get off the chains of YouTube, and then when you can open it up a little bit. Andrew, thank you for the $5 holler. Congratulations on the partnership. I'm a Patreon member. Looking forward to the new content. Thank you very much. And then we got requests. People like it, Mike. They want us to do something for the Clemson game as well. So people are liking the format. So I don't know, man. We only got like a few minutes left. Mike, I think Notre Dame wins this game. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a little frustrating for a while and Notre Dame opens it up. On the high end, if Notre Dame comes out with a pep in their step, and they are flying around, make a couple plays early, maybe one on offense, one on defense, whatever. That will signify something different in me as Notre Dame beginning this final third of this season. The most likely scenario I see is it's a little sleepy, and then Notre Dame makes enough plays on both sides. They end up winning by, 14, 17, somewhere in there. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm hoping for the high end. I want to see us come out of that bye on springs, ready to fly all over. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but that's what I'm hoping for. What do you see?
I think if it's Notre Dame's going to win the game, and I think it's going to be low scoring. I really got to pee. Let's wrap it up. It's going to be a low scoring game.
I'm not going to lie. I do too. I was thinking about just getting a jug under the desk and just seeing what happens.
You got your cooler on. You got your cooler on this side and your porta potty on the other.
Just don't mix them up.
I'm going into this game. I want to see how talented we look. I want to see a huge talent gap. I want to see us air the ball out early. I want to see some young players play. I want to see Jeremiah Love break out. I'm not worried about the game. I just want to see, because you're getting closer to the offseason. Yeah. I want to sample different things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We can kind of build a new menu going into the offseason. So that's kind of what I'm looking for as a healthy win. I'm predicting 28-10 Notre Dame. We hit the under. But I do think you're going to see kind of a sleepy. If we come out of the first quarter and it's 3-0, it won't shock me.
God, nobody's here for that after 2 weeks, man. That'll be so upsetting. The Twitterverse will respond to that, Mike, by saying you had a half a month and this offense got worse and not better. Like, that's going to be the narrative.
That is the thing.
That's the narrative, dude. That's what it's going to be.
All right, we got to go. I got to go downstairs. We're signing off. We got to turn the game on, brother.
We're signing off. Everybody, this was fun, man. It went by too quick. Thank you. Everybody who donated, everybody who chats, I appreciate it so much. And then I'll be here on the post-game show. Dial it up. We'll crank up the phone lines afterwards. But this was really, really fun. Thank you for everybody being a part of it. And we'll go from there. Patreon.com/alwaysirish if you want more content behind the scenes. And let's go Irish. Have a good one.